One Punch Man is out and the drama continues, baby. We have been doing pre-hype marketing, drama farming before it even happened. And now we're here. And I hear a lot of things happening. Listen, throughout the next couple days, literally every day, I will give you something One Punch Man related. It's probably going to be some drama stuff. The Reddit subthreads, are all dooming. Twitter retards that have no understanding of animation are complaining. Big creators are making giant videos. And do you know why my opinion matters in all of this? Listen, that's the man's words, not mine. As the self-proclaimed React Messiah. Remember, you guys have opinions, but my opinions are facts. And apparently I'm the best anime reactor on YouTube. So I will now watch some of Nicholas Light's videos. This is the first one, obviously we're gonna react to, but I wanna first check out, we're gonna skim through random scenes in the actual episode reaction. So I just wanna hear his overall just like opinion about it.
Was one of the worst experiences, I think.
All right, let's hear it.
That was one of the worst experiences I think I've had in my life.
I mean, the title is literally called, "This is the worst experience in my life." Worst experience, really? Than getting sent death threats by Lord of the Mysteries, radicals? No, it wasn't Lord of the Mysteries radicals, right? That was actually a Wuthering Waves schizo who hated the fact that Nicholas Light was pivoting into gacha content, wore the mask of a Lord of the Mysteries fans, and then he made those claims. All right. So he thinks this is like the worst thing to ever happen.
In over 2 years. I know King. That's the GOAT.
All right.
I say that with love.
I want to hear the final take. Okay.
Of One Punch Man world. I don't.
Here we go.
Surprises with shit every fucking week. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
One Punch Man deserves the fucking world. I don't care what anybody says.
He's right.
It deserves that ufotable touch. It deserves that Mappa touch.
He's right.
Even Studio Bones and Science Saru.
Even Studio Bones? Yo, why Bones getting thrown under the bus right now? What the fuck?
It deserves the touch of a studio that is that fucking talented. And that has nothing against the artists of One Punch Man, right? For this season.
Like the director he's talking about.
That's who I fucking blame. For
He knows.
allowing an IP like this.
He knows.
To be like this. To come out like this. This was terrible. This episode was fucking terrible.
I don't think that the episode was terrible. I think the episode was very enjoyable, but there was little to no animation happening, and they skipped a fight. And it's looking bad. But in terms of my own enjoyment after watching episode 1, I felt hyped seeing all the heroes and villains, set the stage as we go into one of the craziest arcs in One Punch Man. Yes, there was again nothing moving. Gaara walking was very stiff. Some people are coping and saying, well, he's injured. He's supposed to be walking like that. Until episode 2 and beyond, where we see the fight scenes, we won't know. So we'll have to just wait and just kind of let the weeks pass.
I'm going to watch the season. It's only like 10, 11 episodes long. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And I'm just being honest, right?
Okay.
I have nothing to lose. I don't give a fuck. I'm just being honest with you guys. It pisses me off. One Punch Man's in fucking
Shambles.
Fortnite and stupid-ass Overwatch. It's that popular.
But...
And I feel like that's all they care about. They don't care about the season itself. It's been 6 fucking years. And this is what we get. We get...
The 6 years was not all of production. It's been 6 years of gap from season 2 and season 3. I don't know exactly when JC staff started to work on season 3, but a lot of people seem to think like this anime season took 6 years to make. It did not.
This fucking shit! I can't believe it. I can't believe how fucking bad it was. The opening was so good.
Yeah.
The opening...
Dude, there was a lot of people fucking hating on the opening like crazy. It's insane. I thought the opening was fucking hype, but people just be hating on One Punch Man because why? Because it's easy to just get likes and just farm engagement right now, right? It's the most NPC thing you can do. Just say, One Punch Man bad, and people say, true, true. It's like this. I can't show you the actual scene because I think I'm gonna get copyright, but basically there's a scene where, these are NPCs right here. Lois says 9, and the audience is waiting in suspense. And she basically says 9/11, right? Basically here. Right over here. This is it. This is the meme format. These are the sheep and the NPCs. And this is whoever's making a stance. And this person says, One Punch Man? Oh, bad. Whoa! It's that easy. And you know what? They're not wrong though. And it comes from a place of passion. They're not hating on it because they hate One Punch Man. It's just, this is a very sensitive topic because of the way that season 1 was done. Sets an impossible standard to ever follow up. And nothing, like this is gonna get more hate than anything else, even though there's plenty of animes worse than One Punch Man right now.
I actually enjoyed not even just the music, but the animation, the visuals. I actually enjoyed it, despite what people are saying. I enjoyed it. I had hope. And then the fucking episode played from
Catfish by an opening. That's a classic. Never trust the animation quality off of an opening, an ending, or trailers. I've gotten baited so many times. These motherfuckers will hire elite artists, like Irregular Magic High School season 30. Oh my god. Lisa pulls up. Opening goes crazy. And then the actual season,
from start to finish, it was fucking shit. It was terrible. All you care about is animation, you fucking retards.
Ooh.
Of course, that's what I care about.
I mean, the anime is called animation. You know what they call anime in Japan? They call it animation, you know? And listen, the movement of the art is not the only thing that matters when watching anime, but it is a significant factor.
It's called anime. It's called One Punch Man, one of the biggest action anime of all time. One of the biggest action IPs of all time. And you're telling me to stop with the animation? I'll just read the fucking book at that point.
I mean, a lot of people, right, are saying, man, the episode was actually not so bad. Even though there was no movement, I really cared about the story, and the show is more than just the animation. And then the responses are, motherfucker, go read the book then. And you know what? That's a very... it's a very gotcha comment to reply by, but they're not wrong, right? Like, listen, I think that the direction of the story and the way that it's translated is important. But the point of an anime, right, is to heighten, augment, improve the source material using animation, having a director that understands the vision of the story, and to heighten the experience such that the pages and the panels that you've seen are in motion and it's a better experience. That's what Takopi kind of was like, right?
That's what it's like anyways. It's no fucking difference. There's more movement me flipping the fucking pages probably. God damn.
Like, you can tell a difference of like a show like this, right? I'm not gonna search up Monogatari, actually. This is careful, but we gotta be careful here. But what I'm trying to show you is, shout outs to Monogatari. You know, I'm not googling that shit. I gotta be careful with that. Shout outs to Monogatari right here, right? Whatever you may think about this series, this is a show which is pretty much majority all just yapping and talking. But it is not still frames. Yeah, this is a light novel translation, right? This is not like manga panels being translated, but I'm trying to give you different animes where they actually care, and the yapping scenes are animated in such a way that the direction just makes sense. It's engaging, it's dynamic. It's not just still frames of people's mouth moving around, right? I think that Tensura Season 3 is a good example of a butchered season where the premise is mostly just yapping, talking, meetings, you know, diplomacy, yet it's literally just still frames, very uninspiring movement. Another one is Classroom the Elite. I think Classroom the Elite is also another example where this shit is all yapping, all talking, but again, I think that it could be translated so much better, right? I think that the excuse that it's not an anime about just fight, therefore it doesn't need animation, that's a bad take. Because like Kaguya-sama, right? I think this is a good example. Kaguya-sama, I think, is an elite, you know, anime where slice of life, rom-com, talking is just emphasized to the next degree. Just watch an episode. You'll know what I'm talking about. All they're doing is talking, but there's so much movement. There's so much character acting and expression and the direction of the story, right? It's compelling. But there's also some shows where they're just very lazy about it. It's a one-to-one panel to frame, and it's just mouth moving. That's not good anime.
This shit was trash. I'm hoping next episode's better. Y'all were saying.
No, I think that next episode is gonna be when the mask comes off, because right now we're still being catfished. So if you're upset at episode 1 like this, like next episode, I think it's gonna get like even worse. If again the fights are gonna be ass, which I think is a safe assumption to make based on all the things that we've seen so far.
This is just a strategy meeting. This is just talking. When it gets to the action, you're gonna apologize to JC staff. We'll fucking see about that. We'll fucking see.
And you know what?
That
I want to apologize to JC staff. Like, listen, this is not like me versus the audience of, see, I told you I was right. We all hope for One Punch Man to be good. But like, it's not looking like that's gonna happen, huh? A lot of the comments, obviously, you know, people complaining. And these are very fair criticisms to have. A lot of people, again, are very sensitive towards One Punch Man. It's gonna get hated more than it should because of its brand name, how big it is, how much season 1 was just a masterpiece, and anything that follows up after it is gonna get trashed more than it actually needs to be. And at the end of the day, people are just passionate, right? People are just very passionate about this, and that's where it's coming from. It's not like they're haters of One Punch Man.
Hey guys, it's everybody's favorite. Hey guys, it's everybody's favorite One Punch Man fan. So
Hello?
Here today, I am gonna address all of the criticisms, not only on my video, which is right here, but also what people are mostly saying related to One Punch Man season 3.
Let's hear it.
Number 1, all you care about is animation. Yes, I mean, it's called anime. I think we should care about the animation. If I didn't care about the animation, I would read a book. Are we reading a book? Is this supposed to be a talking coloring book? No, it's supposed to be animated, anime. Of course I care about story, but when
Right, so an anime, again, when we talk about production value is not just animation. There's many different things that makes up an anime, right? Whether that be the soundtrack, whether that be the voice acting. And another important thing, I think, is the direction of the story. Does the director understand the actual plot, and can they envision what the plot's supposed to be like, capture the feelings and the emotions of the audience when they first read it, and deliver that not just still frames, but to actually present it in a different way that's moving, right? These are all important things. I think animation is probably the most important parameter, though, right? If there is one key component in production value, animation probably is the most significant one. It is. Now, why was I not that upset about it? Because I already had no expectations, and I've already given up on the animation department. The overall compositing, the art style, the colors, the bold lines, the way that the characters look, the soundtrack, the voice acting, the pacing was a little choppy here and there, but the overall story elements is so hype, and I'm a big fanboy of this arc, that I love the first episode, even though from specifically objectively animation, it was ass. It was non-existent. But like, I'm reserving my judgment on One Punch Man until episode 2 comes out, when the fights happen. At that point, then we can go in and shit on it. But for now, let's just wait.
When I watch anime, my eyes want something nice to look at. Number 2, if you don't like it, why do you watch it? Well,
because he's a content creator. Because it's in his best interest to make money off of trending topics. What do you mean?
My response to that would be, because I care. I may not like something my friend does, or I may not like the person my friend is dating. It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to my friend anymore. Will I criticize them? Yes. Will I hope they change? Yes. Will I give up on them entirely? It depends.
I think you should criticize Chibi. Completely off tangent. I think Tecton and Nicholas Light urging Chibi to double down on degenerate behavior that only gets Chibi's family and his life in danger by schizos online is terrible. This whole notion that like they're fighting against censorship and that like, oh, you know, I'm gonna keep posting, you know, fictional depictions of minors getting raped and groomed and glorified and laugh at the haters. Like, what are you doing? You don't need to do that. You're literally creating more insane people that's gonna go after you. He's already been doxxed. His family, like grave, has already been doxxed. Like, what are you fucking doing? All it takes is one crazy person. It's a bad idea. I think that if they're friends, they should like say, chill the fuck out. You don't need to do this, bro.
Imagine nobody ever complained. Nothing would change. You know that thing you're super passionate about? Well, they got very comfortable. And because they got comfortable, now the quality of the product is gonna diminish. It's gonna get worse.
It is important to have objective criticisms and for the audience to fight back against a bad product. Because if you just let shit slide, then they're gonna keep giving you shit. And I'm worried about Blue Lock Season 3 because of the way that Blue Lock Season 2 ended on such a high note, and now Apis Studios and Bandai Namco, the same production committee obviously that worked on Blue Lock, is also working on this. They're gonna see that like, why do we even try? We can just min-max, skip all the lectures and the labs and assignments and show up at the final exam, hit something hard and leave, and we have now min-maxed, you know, our budget, our resource allocations, and the audience seems to eat it up, right? So it is important to voice your concerns as a consumer, or else they're just gonna keep giving you slop.
And when you have people that are like, yeah, keep shitting out that terrible product. Come on, our mouths are open, our fucking assholes are open, even though they
Ain't no way he just spread his fucking bussy.
They know themselves the product is bad and they fail to criticize it. They don't want to criticize it because that's hate. Well, guess what? You're going to keep getting that shit quality. You're going to keep opening that mouth and taking shit right down your throat.
See, I think that there is a spectrum of people who will glaze this shit no matter what and people who will hate on it no matter what. And I think both extremes of the spectrum is always bad. And this is what I always say, never deal in absolutes. The moment that you enter an argument, you know, in absolutes, you've already lost. You have to look at what is reasonable, what is logical. And I think that I'm the only like rational person that sees episode 1 for what it is. And I think that it was enjoyable. Was the animation non-existent? Yes. Did they skip fights? Yes. But again, the first episode that was all about just strategy meetings, I think that the way that they were able to obfuscate all their animation and still deliver the story in a hype way was entertaining to me. Am I going to say this is the best episode I've ever watched? Fuck no. Do I think that it could be better? Absolutely. I think episode 1 has overblown hate though right now. Because again, passionate fans that have an extreme standard to compare for season 1, it's a very trending topic to hate right now. But if you genuinely watch episode 1 and this is like the worst episode that you've ever seen in your life, I think that you're a fucking tourist. I don't think you actually understand anime production value. I don't think you could name me 5 fucking seasonal animes happening right now, summarize the story, and tell me who your favorite character is why. I watch so many animes. I'm watching like 30 separate animes right now. And One Punch Man Season 3 Episode 1 is not without faults. However, to say that this is the worst episode ever, that's a bit ridiculous. That's insane. It was a fun episode that could have been way better, and we'll reserve our judgment until the actual fight scenes happen.
Because you don't want to criticize it. That's what all of these fan accounts are doing. Now, I'm not saying you're not allowed to like it. This is all perspective. You could have watched that first episode of season 3 of One Punch Man and said, it's actually pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Attack people for not enjoying it. I don't know about you guys, but I think the general consensus, how people are mostly feeling about it, is that it was terrible. Which is why I will criticize it. I will criticize it.
I don't think it was terrible though. I think it was enjoyable mid. Yeah, I think it was. In like an actual like objective scoring of like production value, that's limited in animation. I don't even know. It's like a high 6, low 7. If I could be really, really lenient, maybe like a 7.5, I would never put that shit in an 8 though, right? And there's plenty of animes again that is worse than this, that doesn't get the same level of hate. Why? Because it's not a big project to hate on, right? You have to realize that on social media, the magnifying glass is always placed onto things that is, I guess, trending, popular. Like, who cares about shitting on shows? Like, there's a lot of like hate that Mushoku Tensei gets that a lot of other shows gets immunity from. Because a lot of these other shows with a lot of these diddling elements are not popular. It's not trending. And you have to realize that people online, they operate to farm an engagement, to hit that dopamine rush by rage baiting, you know, to fill the empty void of their depressing lives. So just hating on something popular, that's what it, you know, what they do. So it's like very overblown hate for something I think that probably does deserve the hate. But if again, like people are treating this episode 1 like it's the fucking worst thing to ever happen in existence, and I think that that is ridiculous, and you are basically on the extreme side of the spectrum, and you are criticizing others who are on the exact polar opposite of the spectrum. Well, I'm literally right in the fucking somewhere in the middle that can see this shit for what it is. What the fuck, YouTube? What is this?
Criticize it. I will criticize it on a weekly basis if I have to until it looks better. And if it doesn't look better, then I'm going to keep complaining. Which leads me to the next point. You know nothing about animation. Stop criticizing it. So
Name me 5 animation techniques. When I say Yutapon Cube, do you know what I'm talking about? Listen, shout out to Nicholas Light. He my homie. But does he truly understand production value? Does he truly understand animation to like those Sakuga turrets on Sakugaburo? I don't know.
now I'm supposed to be an animation scholar, part of the elites. My eyes are wrong. They haven't been trained to really understand animation. So if something looks bad, my eyes are wrong. It's because I don't know animation. I'm not a scholar of it. I can't name.
I think that you don't have to be a Michelin chef, a Michelin star chef, to eat a food and say, this tastes good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of backseating that the normies can do without being experts. And if you watch an anime episode, you don't have to understand every single technique. If anything, I think it could be a good litmus test for the average person to watch and say, it's good or it's bad. They're gut instincts.
3 animators. Sorry, but most people can't even name one. So because I'm not a cook, that means I can't criticize food? You know nothing about the ingredients. You know nothing about chefery. You think...
I think that at the highest level of these different industries and niches, right? Like, you... Listen, I think that what I'm trying to say is a Michelin star chef understanding all these different techniques and ingredients to make the highest quality food, and me eating that, I'm not going to be able to understand exactly what happened, right? But people in that same niche and expertise, they can understand, they can decipher what a difference between a 9.7 and a 9.5 is. Us monkeys, the regular people, still has the ability to tell if it's good or bad, right? We're not like, I think that there is absolutely a way in which, like, the more knowledgeable you are in the field, the better you're going to have a grasp on things. But sometimes those differences happen at this really, really high level of, like, again, deciphering, is this a 9.7? This is a 9.4? Versus, like, this is just like a 7. I think that we can watch some 7s or 8s and realize, was this good or not?
That tastes like shit? You think it smells like horse shit? Your nose is wrong. You know nothing about food. A child could criticize food if they want to. I know what good animation is. I know what bad animation is. I don't need to name 45 fucking animators, key directors. I don't need to know any of that to judge it.
I think that the problem is there's nothing to judge right now, though. Like, listen, I'm not trying to, like, make jokes right now, but there was literally nothing to judge on episode 1. Because nothing happened. It was a bunch of fucking static frames with people fucking moving their mouths. You know what I mean? So I've already kind of given up on that department and enjoy the episode for everything else that is. So I'm just kind of, again, waiting for the actual fight scenes to happen.
Review what I'm seeing. So the fact that people use that as criticism, as a way to insult me or attack me or anybody, I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Sure.
Oh, you know that 900th Marvel film? You can't say it's bad. You've never been a superhero. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like elitist, tribalist bullshit. You've never watched Life in Another World as a toilet bowl. You don't know anime.
That should be a fucking light novel title.
The next point is my favorite.
I think that I do agree with Nicholas Light here in the sense that I think that an average consumer being able to see something without being an expert in the field and to decipher themselves if it was good or bad is a great litmus test. Because if you truly are making good products, I think the average person should be able to understand, was this good or bad, right? There is definitely elitist gatekeepers in any communities. And for sure they exist and they were gonna mock, people for not understanding all these different animation techniques. But I think that like you don't have to be an expert to give your just normie take. And I think that normie opinion has a lot of value.
Favorite. It was only episode 1. It was a conversation between characters. What do you need? Shonen slop impact frames? They're saying this while they're watching a fucking shonen show. I don't need impact frames. I don't need nonstop baba booey. Boom boom pow pow. There are shows like Vinland Saga, Frieren that look absolutely stunning when the characters are literally just standing still.
Again, I'm talking about the different animes I brought up, like Kaguya-sama, a lot of different slice of life animes where you don't need fights, but they still look good. Defaulting on an excuse that this is not a Shonen Sakuga episode, therefore no animation needs to happen, I think that's a terrible argument because there's plenty of other slice of life shows where there's so much dynamic movement, character acting, and so on that brings motion to these scenes, even though all they're doing is talking
to each other. You have shows like ReZero that came out this year that looks stunning. I'm sure all of you
ReZero come out this year? Core 2 Season 3 did.
You can name a slice of life anime that looks absolutely gorgeous. I find it to be an extreme coping mechanism when people are actively trying to defend something. Like, I'm not even lying, on Twitter, there were literally One Punch Man fan accounts warning people like, don't expect too much from episode 1. Don't expect too much. Don't expect it. Oh, wait, they expected that? Oh, I told you. I told you not to expect that. I didn't know y'all worked for One Punch Man. I didn't know you were under One Punch Man's payroll.
That's the best part. They're volunteers, bro. They don't get paid for this shit and they still do it for free for the love of the game. Why? Because they love this shit, right? And again, there's going to be people that's going to be glazing and protecting what they love no matter what, and they are blinded by their love. See, the notion that you shouldn't have any expectations of episode 1 because it is a setup meeting scene, I think is fair because people are thinking about just action scenes like this. But again, there's a lot of like slice of life shows that still has a lot of movement. Now, should they have done some sort of Studio Shaft Monogatari-esque, dialogue and scenes in episode 1? I mean, that would have been interesting. But here's the thing. They don't have the capacity to do so. I think that the studio and the team and the talent is straight up limited. And they are carefully thinking about min-maxing this season. Just like Blue Lock Season 2. I think that's what's actually happening. And to hate on episode 1 because of its lack of good slice of life moments, I think is fair. To me, again, there's nothing to judge because there was no animation happening. And I'm just waiting until next week.
I understand that it's not going to be this boom, boom, pow, pow, impact frame slop fest in the first episode, especially when it's just a strategy meeting. But I expect at least some animation, some cool looking moments with these characters interacting with each other, some
That's
movement,
fair.
Not just moving the camera up and down and they
did a lot of that,
especially when you have awkward cutting.
I really enjoyed pre-prisoner scene. That segment was really hyped to me. There's a lot of cool camera work, kind of being done to obviously obscure the movement, but there's a lot of scenes that really highlighted like him from the back looking all fucking sick and the prison warden saying, "You're my last hope, go be a hero," and like the scarf from his boyfriend giving it. That scene was really fun to me, but again, right? There's a lot to be desired
throughout the episode. So I'm watching this like, I might as well just pick up the book. And I don't want to pick up the book. I'm not a reading type of guy. I want to watch this anime that I loved in season 1, and I actually really loved in season 2 as well. But season 3 so far hasn't given me any reason to love it anymore. The opening looks good.
I think season 3 has proven to me that the overall compositing and the art style is improved compared to season 2. I think that their usage of 3D and CG is actually better. It's not as awkward like Genos's, cyborg arm stuff you saw in season 2. I think there was actually a lot of improvements, but these improvements are more to do with the overall art style. And I think that these are things that a lot of people don't care about, right? I think that the average consumer has no understanding of different layers happening in the background art, the background images, different layers in environment, as well as the overall compositing, because they're just kind of focused on the movement, right?
but that's all we've seen. And when you have lack of promotion like One Punch Man Season 3 had, how could you expect people not to be critical like I am? There's a reason why they're not promoting this anime so much. We don't even know what next week's episode looks like. Why do you?
Straight up, right? Like the director tweeted saying like, we haven't promoted because we were kind of scared. Maybe I'm paraphrasing and interpreted wrong, but I'm pretty sure that guy said like, this is a strategic decision made because like, we don't want to like get your hopes up. Maybe I'm wrong about that though, but I swear I've read a tweet about something like that.
You think that? You have the newest opening, which doesn't have the craziest of visuals, but there's moments where it looks sick. And then you watch the first episode and you're like,
Again, right? I think that for me, obviously, we don't get catfished off of anime openings because of how often it happens. But I think that consumers should have the right to be complaining about, man, like you hyped up so much from the opening. Why does the actual episode not look like that? Well, welcome to anime, I guess, right? That's just how it works here. But does that mean that's the way it should be?
like, is this the same anime? That's later episodes. How the fuck do you know that? I'm judging based off what I've seen and what I've heard. You're just basing it off you being biased. The director himself.
No, I think they're basing it off of them knowing what happens in the future manga. Hasn't he read the fucking Garo versus Saitama fight though? I swear to God he was making content off of that. But yeah, like, again, you should never expect the actual episodes to have the same quality as an anime opening. Anime openings are going to be super hyped up and way more attention to detail put into it to catfish the audience. Does that mean that like we should just enjoy the slop though? No, but I'm just explaining to you, right? This is the reality that we're living in. It's better to adjust your expectations. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't demand better things though. He watched the fan animation? Okay.
Said don't expect season 1 animation. So already people, including myself, are going to be a little bit upset because we believe that One Punch Man deserves that level of animation.
True.
If not even better. So the fact that we're getting not only less, but much less than season 1, even season 2.
I think that there's not enough to compare though. It's unfair to be comparing season 2 and season 3 right now. Because I'm sure if you just show in season... I don't even know what happened in season 2, episode 1. I haven't seen the animes actually for season 2 and season 1. I'm just a reader, by the way. It's just very unfair to compare first episode, that only the strategic meeting, that could have been better, to completed seasons where they had a lot of moments to pop off.
That is insane. If this was just another anime, even if it was like Mushoku Tensei. I love Mushoku Tensei.
All right.
But even if it was that, I wouldn't be making a big deal like this. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah. I'll just drop it. Even though I love the series. One Punch Man is so different. We're talking about an IP that is in Fortnite, that is in Overwatch.
It is mainstream as fuck.
We're talking about an IP with a character that people that don't even watch anime can name. This isn't Life in Another World as a fucking popsicle. This is One Punch Man.
He got another isekai title. He's good with this isekai title. We have a toilet bowl, we have a popsicle now. I want a bidet.
Man. This deserves, I'm sorry, I don't care if this hurts people. This deserves that Ufotable, Mappa, Studio Bones, signed Saru treatment.
Yeah, I think this should have the same level of care and attention like Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I think it does. And JJK be fucking eating it up. And this is why human slavery is necessary. I'm just kidding. Shout outs to Mappa, animators, but it's because of the greed of the production committee that owns the right to One Punch Man the anime, not picking out the talents. Because there's a lot of... Listen, right? There's a lot of... What matters the most in terms of what makes a good anime or not is the talent. People think that it's budget. I do agree that money is important. Of course it is. It's inherently a core thing that exists in the world that we live in, capitalism. But what's really important is the talent and the scheduling. Right? The talent, the director having the pull and the clout to have other S-rank animators to pull up and work on it because they respect. That's how the Japanese culture works. And then to have ample schedules to allow them to create amazing works. But because talent is often just shuffled around and a lot of these, mercenaries and, they're basically like guild, Bokensha shit, bro. Like adventurers, man. S-rank adventurers are busy right now. Right? Think about this. Remember, have you ever seen like isekai shows or fantasy shows where, goddamn, bro, the main characters are struggling because the S-rank, adventurers are out on a quest somewhere else. That's kind of what's happening right now. The S-rank animators are all full of their own quotas and commissions. They're doing different projects. They're working on Free Run. They're working on Jujutsu Kaisen. They're working on all these different things. And could the production committee have waited a bit more? I mean, shit, they waited 6 years. You think another 5 years would have fucking mattered? I think people would have waited, right? but it's just like very short-sighted, not attention seeking, greedy production committee staff settling for less in order to just milk an IP for what it's got.
It does. We haven't seen that treatment in a long time. Maybe little pieces throughout season 2, but we're not going to see that shit again. I didn't mean to do this, but for One Punch Man fans, I thought I was a One Punch Man fan. I guess I'm talking about the Twitter retards. They drew a line in the sand between me and them.
Oh, shit.
As if I don't love what they love. Just because.
Dude, this happens like every fucking season. And it's just so funny to me. It's like clockwork, right? Brand new season hits, something trending. Nicholas goes in, says some shit, makes people mad. People find out his OnlyFans account, drama happens. They find out that he's a fake reactor, and then they realize he has like #1 fake reactor in his bio. It's just so fun to me to watch. It's like clockwork. Every fucking season, without a doubt, it happens, and then I'm there to farm the drama. And you know what? I'm appreciative for that.
Because I'm critical, that means I'm not a fan like they are. A fan to them means...
Yeah. Glaze, no matter what.
One Punch Man is like seeing your best friend in a toxic relationship. You know they can do better. You criticize them and you're like, why are you with this person? They treat you like shit. Why are you still here? Why are you still entertaining them? Why are you still buying them things? Why you keep saying you love them and why don't you just fucking leave them? You know,
it's
you
toxic.
hope for the best for them. You hope they reconcile. You hope things get better, but you're also like, I don't see it as getting any better. I think you got to find somebody new. You can still criticize them, but you're still there for them. That's how I feel about One Punch Man. I will criticize the fuck out of it, but I'll still be there for it. I'll watch.
And this is something that, again, a lot of people just have such difficulty in understanding. People always see things in absolutes. You're either an entire glazer or you're just a fucking hater, right? I think that a actual fan should be able to just set aside these emotions and look at it from an objective perspective and understand, is this worth shitting on? Is this worth hyping up? Right now, for me as an objective fan, we need to wait. It could have been way better. I don't think this is the worst thing to ever happen in anime. If you actually think that, again, you're a fucking tourist. Name me 5 seasonal animes happening right now, the plot and the characters that you like. I guarantee you can't fucking name them. You're a fucking orbiter that just like walks, just walks around, whenever anime is just around, just talk about the big shit because it's for engagement. Like, I think that episode 1 hate is overblown. I understand why it's overblown. And let's give it a couple more to see what the fights look like.
Watch it on a weekly basis. And if it gets better, I will be the first to tell you, wow, it got better. I'm not going to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for. The first episode was shit. The promotion has been shit.
Yep.
We've heard nothing but shit related to the product. So that's what I'm going off of. If it gets better, I'll be the first, like I said, to compliment the fuck out of it.
No, I'll be there first.
But if it gets worse, I'll be first in line to take a shit all over it. And
I'll also be first for that.
It's not me going for the I told you so route. It's me basically saying,
you're just calling a spade, right? It's just so hard for children online to understand that, like, you can love something and criticize it too. There's moments where you shit on a show because it's bad, it's doing bad. But like, there's people that's just like, they have to love it no matter what. They need to protect it, right? And again, it's just a bunch of children who have this like emotional attachment and can't like logically see things for the way it is. And then they get into online discourse and they just start waging a tribalism of, you're just a hater, you're just a glazer. It's so fucking stupid.
What the fuck? Like, what is this? This is One Punch Man. This is, like I said previously, this is one of the biggest IPs, anime IPs in the fucking world. Anybody that calls me out for being too passionate, you're stupid.
Maybe you're not being passionate enough.
There's no such thing. There's literally an account on YouTube, I'm not even going to shout them out,
okay, that
had like 15, 20,000 views,
okay,
that I watched and called me a fucking idiot.
Shout out to Senchi! What's going on, my man? I mean, he did say that. He said fucking dumbass. Yeah, he did say that, right? Listen, Senchi's my boy. Senchi's my boy. That's the reality, right? And I think Senchi was also very upset and frustrated that leading up to One Punch Man, Nick was just dooming and hating on things, even though there were good things to compliment, right?
Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
He did it again, actually. Oh, Senchi's entering the Coliseum, huh? You ready to gladiate?
That I watched and called me a fucking idiot because I don't know.
Fucking dumbass, actually, not an idiot. Come on, man.
Know what I'm talking about. And One Punch Man Season 3 looks great, and the trailers were great. Do you fucking hear your...
I don't think he said the trailers are great, though. Did he say that? I've seen pretty much every Senshi video. I've reacted to those. I don't think he's ever said that trailers look great. He says, he tries to see the good parts. We're literally analyzing fucking blood animation because there's nothing to fucking grasp at. I don't think he's ever said it was great, though.
If you think any of the One Punch Man Season 3 promotion was good, I don't know what to tell you.
The promotion videos, the PVs, the CMs, the trailers, they're a direct reflection of episode 1, huh? No animation, mouths moving. Yeah. We're given what we expected.
I think you're a little bit delusional. People were like, oh, you want them to show everything? They literally showed the entire first episode in those trailers. They might as well shown episode 2 and 3 and 4 while they were at it, maybe even a second or two. They literally showed like every scene.
Are they gonna be releasing One Punch Man PVs, episode PVs? I hope they do that so that we can farm those too. It'll be like Soul Leveling all over again.
That's in that first episode. I have eyes. I don't need to be an elite. I don't need to be an elite scholar of animation and shonen and One Punch Man to understand that this looks like shit.
And again, right, the average person's perspective is a great litmus test, right? I think that there's a threshold of how passable it is to the average person to see something and say that's good or bad, right? If you can't even meet that threshold, I don't think that like elite industry expert knowledge matters, because that knowledge matters to differentiate the quality beyond that threshold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's like a threshold of like what the average person sees, right? And if you can't even meet that threshold of it being good, then like, who cares what like a Michelin star chef's restaurant's like opinion is? Because that shit matters way up here. We're talking about down here. Is it good enough? It's not even, right?
I put up a post. If you guys genuinely want me to drop One Punch Man because you think I'm an aggressive personality for the anime space, then put it. Then vote for...
Fuck that. You farm that shit because you want to. I think it's so stupid to say, oh, you're a disruptor in the anime community. You're too big and your words have, you know, consequences. I think that because he is a big platform, right, there is definitely more eyes and more, just like how One Punch Man, right? I think that Nicholas like gets a lot of hate because it's kind of like a One Punch Man situation. There's a lot of other people out there talking shit and going crazy too, but they don't get any hate. Why does he get the hate? Because he's big, he's huge. There's a lot of eyes on him, just like One Punch Man. One Punch Man season 3 is not the worst anime project, but there's a lot of eyes, a lot of visibility surrounding it, right? That's why people are way more critical and harsh towards popular things rather than other things that may actually like deserve the criticism, yet there's nothing there.
Drop this anime and I will happily drop it. I'll stay away from it. But if you vote for keep watching the anime, my criticism, my rants.
Nah, just fucking rant away, bro. Just fucking crash out. Just watch it all. Like, I wish that he continued Lord of the Mystery so we could have farmed that drama after that shit. He fucking backed out. I was disappointed. He's a quitter, bro. The Nicholas Light I know isn't a fucking quitter. I wish he would have continued Lord of the Mysteries.
Are only going to get 10 times worse if the product is as bad as it was in episode 1. If it gets better, I'll be honest. If it gets worse, I'll be fucking brutal about it. I was actually going to call out comments, but I don't want to give anybody clout, especially on Twitter. So that's why I just generalized each topic today. What do
Shout out to Senshi.
you guys think? Do you have any hope for One Punch Man Season 3? Do you want me to continue my reactions to One Punch Man Season 3?
My hopes for One Punch Man Season 3 will be announced after we see some first significant fights. Until those fights happen, we don't know. And even if those fights are fucking ass, I will still hope that the finale will end strong, like Blue Lock Season 2. Because, do you guys know this scene here? No spoilers, but do you know what this scene is from? It's from the opening, but is there any manga readers in here? And here's a spoiler alert. Here's a spoiler alert. I think that the fact that they included this key manga frame in the opening means that we're going to be ending the season with Darkshine versus Garo. And that fight is my favorite fucking fight leading up to what happens later on. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. This is like the moment where like Garo truly transcends his limits. Darkshine is fucking going crazy. He is pummeling Garo, just brutalizing him, and Garo's fucked up. And there's a moment where he's like, nah, I am him. And like, oh my god, dude, that fight is fucking insane. And this is a key manga frame from it. Spoilers? Oh, it's a spoiler that, hey, guess what? Garo's gonna be fighting every S rank hero. This is not a spoiler, but this is a key manga frame from it. I'm pretty sure it is. And I'm hoping that One Punch Man Season 3, if the first couple fights are ass and looks like Blue Lock Season 2, I just hope that the final one here is actually gonna be like Blue Lock Season 2 finale. Now, just in case I'm talking up my ass, let me just Google something here. Let me just Google something here and see if this frame I'm talking about is right. I'm looking at the... I think this... No, if I look at his... Here's some more spoilers. Basically, I'm looking at the manga frames right now of Darkshine versus Garo to see if I think it is. Pretty sure this is. Again, here's a spoiler. Again, click off if you don't want to see this, okay? This is definitely like the turning point here, where he just transcends his limits. But this is like near the really end. There's also like, I'm just looking at like his overall shape. Like you see this kind of like clothing that looks like wings. Kind of like here too, right? God, there's some iconic scenes here, man. There's some fucking iconic scenes here. Like Garo versus Darkshine is genuinely one of my fucking favorite fights. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is if this panel actually is the scenes from Garo versus Darkshine, then I really hope that like this is gonna be the way that like, here's another really cool one. God, fuck the posing, bro. Bro, this is when Garo like says, fuck it, fine, I'll actually try, and like adopts the... God, this scene is so... And then the way that Bang does it too. Yo, that season 2 went... The season 2 content went fucking crazy with Garo versus Bang, and he's saying pose up, stands up, and he does the same thing. Ugh. I'm just fanboying at this point, but maybe I'm wrong, but I think that this is Garo versus Darkshine. And if it is, I'm hoping that it ends on a strong note, like what Blue Lock did. Maybe it doesn't. We just won't know. We'll just have to actually fucking see, bro.
Let me know down below. But other than that, I am gone. Sayonara. Hey guys.
And that's it. There is a lot of discourse, obviously, because of people that always sees things in absolutes. I think that being critical of something doesn't mean you're a hater. And there's a lot of sensitive people that will see criticism as just blind hate. I think that Nick is totally fair in being disappointed because, again, One Punch Man's brand recognition is crazy, and it does deserve the world. It does deserve that, like, Sukuna versus Mahoraga levels of quality. But unfortunately, that's not the reality that we're living in. And now we have this shitty-ass situation where it's production committee known as Bandai Namco fucking One Punch Man, and JC staff is being used as a shield. And I feel bad for the team working on this because they're gonna get so much hate. And that's just the fucked up world. I just hope that people understand where they should be blaming, pointing fingers. The guy that's working on, the director is getting a lot of hate saying he's just a hentai artist. Guess what? A lot of people actually are like hentai artists in the industry too. And we'll have to wait for more episodes. We'll have to wait for the actual fights to happen. And then I will give you my actual judgment. First episode to me was very fun to see all these different characters come to light. Even though they weren't moving, I still felt the hype for the setup, for the aura farming moments. And I just hope to God that even if the fights are ass in the beginning, that like they'll do something Blue Lock Season 2 and we'll end up with a bang. Shout out to Silverfang. Here's a link to the video. Check out Nicholas Light's channel. Here it is. Go give it a like. See you next time. Bye-bye.